right. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for DAM Week. My name is Dynamic, and as Ian mentioned, this is Rob. And in this session, we'll be going over how you can get started with digital asset management, also known as DAM, and what the top considerations are for buyers when finding the perfect DAM for you. Just to keep everyone in the loop, as Ian mentioned, this is a recorded session, and we'll be doing a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A tab and we'll do our best to answer them. All right. Well, today we'll be going over how you can scope your DAM project and know if it's right for your organization, how to find the right vendor with the perfect features for you, how to begin to implement a DAM within your current workflow, and some of the coolest new features that we have at MediaValet. So let's kick it off with Rob. He'll be going over how to scope out your DAM project.
Thank you, Dynamic. So yes, it all starts with being clear on your objectives. What are you trying to solve? It seems kind of obvious, but you'd be surprised how many clients that we see who are not clear or just simply not aligned on exactly what they want their DAM to achieve. This in turn makes decision-making really, really hard, and simply measuring whether your project was actually successful is all but impossible. Now, everyone understands the benefits a DAM can bring: greater control of your assets, security, discoverability, all that good stuff. But the why part, why do you want that? Why do we want all these extra features? It's so important. We need to define what problem or what challenge we're trying to solve. So whether you're just in the initial phases of purchasing your DAM, or maybe you're ready to begin implementation, just take a moment and pause and answer yourself these following questions. Why do we need this DAM? Maybe it's something like your assets are hard to locate, or maybe you've got an ever-increasing volume of assets and it's just becoming impossible to manage, or maybe you've got some upcoming project or initiative that you really need a DAM to support. Whatever it is, discussing it, documenting it, and referring back to it regularly is going to make all your subsequent decision-making a lot easier. So once you've identified and you've captured that why question, then it's really easy to turn that into your success criteria. Make sure everybody knows about this, document it, write it down. This is the problem we are trying to solve with our DAM platform. And then hopefully 6 months, maybe 12 months from now, you can look back at that question and you can say, hey, did we solve our problem? Were we successful with our implementation? Okay, so once we have clarity on the problem that we're trying to solve, the next step is to make sure we have the right people in our team to help us solve this problem. You do not want to try and go this one alone. Your DAM is going to have a huge impact on your organization. So making sure that you get buy-in from everyone is really key. And the best way to do that is with having good stakeholders. So pick some folks from other departments. They're going to know their assets. They're going to know their workflows better than you. So they can help you understand how they do their business and what their users are doing, which we'll get more into that in a minute. It's also a great way to get adoption. Nobody likes to be left in the dark and then just told last minute, hey, we're going to start using this new platform. So bringing your stakeholders in early on and giving up a little bit of control to them, that's going to provide much more adoption for your platform as you start to roll it out. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. The key to a successful DAM implementation is widespread adoption. And don't forget, you might have external users too. Those folks outside of your organization who also are going to have to get access to your DAM. So make sure you've got somebody who represents them on your stakeholder team. They can discuss the needs that they have and maybe even bring some of them in to do some testing of the tool that you're trying out. And likewise, in this day and age, a lot of our teams are distributed. So make sure you've got stakeholders from other regions within the country or maybe even internationally that you want to bring in. It's important to get their input and their help when it comes to picking the right DAM and running some testing. So build out your dream team, select people that really understand your organization and its processes. And one little interesting observation that I've noted over time is that your stakeholders don't have to be like big advocates for implementing a DAM. It's actually useful sometimes to have the voices of those detractors in your steering group. Their opinions, they can be really insightful, and it also helps you to address some of those negative things up front in the project. And ultimately, what we want to do is turn these detractors into the biggest advocates we can over time. It's also super important to help you understand what assets you have. So bringing these stakeholders in is going to help you understand who owns these assets, what type of assets they are, and it's also going to impact the type of DAM that you buy and the amount of money you need to spend on that DAM in terms of the size of your collection and the type of assets you're looking to support. It's really important that you buy a DAM that fits your needs. So talking of buying a DAM that fits your needs brings me on to my next topic, which is just talking about the considerations of your investment, maybe over the lifetime that you're going to have it. Your DAM should support you not just now, but also in the future as your collection grows, and you're going to discover more ways that your DAM can help your organization. So before you go making any decisions, these are just some key things to think about. Things like how many assets are you creating or adding to your DAM over time? And the best way to do this is simply just look back at the last year, look at the last 12 months, and try and identify how many assets you created in that time. And this will give you a good approximation of your annual creation rate. And then from there, you can then calculate and extrapolate what you think you'll need in year 2, year 3, year 4, and so on and so forth. And you can build your DAM and build your plan based around that volume increase. And once you've got that number, it's also worth just thinking about scaling in general. Hopefully, business improves over time and your team's going to grow. So what does that do to your assets? Does that add a multiplier to the amount of assets you're going to be creating? You're also going to require more licenses for more users. What size of team are you expecting to have 2, 3, 4 years down the line? And then finally, layer onto that your organizational growth. As your organization starts to expand, they're going to add more tools, more platforms. So you want to ensure that the DAM that you pick can easily integrate and connect with those platforms so that we don't run into any problems or limitations further down the road. The aim is basically to ensure that your DAM provides you with the flexibility and the capacity to support not just where you are now, but where you want to be 5 years from now, maybe even 10 years from now. Okay, so we're going to switch gears now and just take a look at some tips we can go into about setting up your DAM. So this is one of my favorite strategies for implementing a DAM. I've used it countless times and it really helps many of our clients. We call it crawl, walk, run. And at MediaValet, we use it a lot. And the big takeaway from this really is simply don't try to do everything at once. It's unrealistic for you to achieve your entire vision in the first month. It's also a little bit daunting to try. From our observations, the most successful implementations are those that find value really early on by attacking simple use cases and those really critical integrations that you need. This is usually done in the first few weeks, the first few months of setting up the platform. And then once we achieve those really early wins, it helps to motivate the team and it helps to motivate just the whole organization to then expand and start to use the platform more and more. So once we're comfortable with crawling, it's then time to start thinking about walking. So our walking phase of our implementation might be something like expanding into additional departments, or maybe bringing on other teams within our organization. Once we've had a successful crawl phase, we know the process. We're able to repeat and iterate and start to roll out easier sequentially to other departments. Other ways to move into the walking phase might be to introduce a new use case. So we might start crawling, for example, with a really basic use case like, let's get all of the sales team in the DAM using the platform. Our next use case might be something like, let's start pushing those assets onto our external website. So we're taking it step by step by step. Each step needs to be planned carefully and executed carefully. And then once we're comfortable with our walking phase, we've got a few use cases going, it's then time to crank it up a notch and start running. And this is where we get into the real vision of our DAM. We're going to have multiple departments set up. We're going to have multiple use cases in there, fully integrated platform that connects to all of your different systems. And then we can look back at that success criteria that we started right back at the start of our journey, and we can definitively say whether we were successful or not in achieving our goals. Okay, so let's recap on what we've covered so far. Got a handy little summary here, and I've actually thrown in a few little extra tips in here. Number one, focus on your outcomes, not your features. It's easy to become wrapped up in all the features that many of the platforms have out there. And features are really important, but it's the outcomes that matter. You can have lots and lots of features, but if they don't help you achieve the outcomes that you need, they're useless. So work backwards, think about what outcomes you want, and then find a platform with the features that you need to achieve those outcomes. Number two, get stakeholders involved early on. Your stakeholders are the key to a successful implementation. They provide unique perspectives. They know their roles really well, their needs, their users, their assets, and they'll be pivotal in helping you get the adoption that you need for your tool. Number three is make sure you have room to grow. So understand your growth plan that we talked about and ensure that the DAM that you purchase is capable enough to match and hopefully exceed that growth plan. And then number four, know what success looks like. I know I talked a lot about this one already, but I can't stress it enough. If you take away one thing from today, is to think deeply about the problems that you're trying to solve and what a successful outcome looks like for you. Number five is don't forget to crawl before you walk, and don't forget to walk before you run. Implementing a DAM, it doesn't have to be daunting. Find a DAM provider that can work with you, break down your implementation into manageable stages, and you'll be a lot more successful if you do so. And then finally, number six, and this one's kind of just for me, but trust me, it'll make your life easier, is start preparing early. It's never too early to start preparing and organizing your assets. It's kind of like moving house. You don't wait till the night before to start packing. I mean, some people do, but don't be one of those people. Think about getting your assets in order, do all that preparation work up front. It's going to make you feel a lot better because you're going to know exactly what assets you have. And it's also going to help with your decision-making around buying a DAM package that's suitable for you, which ultimately will save you some money in the long run. With that, I'm going to hand over to Dynamic, who's going to discuss how to make the best use of all of this scoping information that you've just gathered.
Perfect. So after you've scoped your DAM project internally, the next step is to translate these into priorities to analyze your vendor options. Typically, we see this fall into three different buckets. For your goals and challenges, think through what your greatest pain points are today and where you have bottlenecks that can be addressed with improved asset management solutions. For example, if your end goal is to improve brand consistency, you'll need better brand management or perhaps faster and more advanced asset distribution options. As Rob mentioned, try to focus on the broader needs rather than creating a list of needed features. Remember that your DAM should work for you. You shouldn't need to go out of your way to make a DAM work for your organization. Next is to evaluate what's needed to meet the user's needs you identified in your scoping phase. Specifically, you'll want to consider what you'll need from your DAM as you scale through crawl, walk, and run. And how does price scale as you add more users? Or does it have the sharing options that work for your internal and external teams? Also consider what you'll need in terms of permissions, both today and in the future as you grow. The last consideration is around what you'll require from the vendor itself to align with your wider organizational needs. This can be in the form of services, such as what you need in terms of support and training hours, or if there are specific security requirements the vendor needs to meet. A more recent one that's on organizations' radars recently has been sustainability. So how sustainable are your vendors and how are they working to become more carbon neutral? All right. To help you understand how some of these goals are met, we've got a few new features that are hot and fresh out of the oven that can support your organization with everything DAM related. So starting off with text recognition and object detection, MediaValet's AI capabilities scan your assets for different text and objects and tags them so that it's metadata for your asset. That way, if you search up shoes in your MediaValet search bar, then this image will pop up and you don't need to tag it yourself. The AI does it for you. This is great for organizations who upload thousands of images and need to be able to find a specific one, especially if you're looking for an image featuring a prominent object, or if you're looking for an object that's subtly in an image but still there, you'll be able to find it easily. Next, we have face recognition, which was released in the summer of this year. With face recognition, you'll be able to automatically group recognized faces together in a cohesive dashboard, as you can see here, and search for them also when you need it through the search bar. Whether you're wanting to use our organized people dashboard or search for the name, face recognition supports you in finding the images you need when you need them.
Yeah, I was going to jump in on that one, Dynamic. That's been a huge feature for us this year. We've got a lot of our entertainment clients using it to locate famous faces on the red carpet, that sort of thing. Sports teams using it to pick out players that date back years and years and years, just identifying those faces and images. There's just so many like cool ways that our clients have been using this to pick out and find users and add extra information to their library. Cool to see where it's going to go in the next few years, but one of my favorite features.
Yeah, super cool. So face recognition is for recognizing faces within images, but don't forget about video either. With our audio video intelligence feature, also known as AVI, you won't need to parse through each video in your library to find the right one. Instead, the AI will analyze your videos and detect the objects, text, emotions, and different scenes within each one. So not only will it analyze and create the metadata so that it's searchable, but it'll also create transcripts of your videos, and then you can easily export them and translate them to over 40 languages. So we have a few customers making really great use out of AVI features. For example, if you joined our customer panel earlier this week, you would have heard from Jack from Fred Rogers Productions, who is using the DAM to help manage its portfolio of over 1,100 TV episodes and associated assets. And by using AVI, they're able to quickly find episodes that contain certain phrases or songs. This is super helpful, especially to the social media team, who can quickly find clips to create new and engaging posts for their various social profiles. Another example is ACAMS, who we recently spoke with on a Hot DAM talk. They're using video intelligence to manage their event footage so that they're able to quickly find clips containing certain speakers or topics to promote their events and reuse in other content. All right, well, with assets in your library, you should be able to know how your assets work for you and how you use them as well. That's why we value the importance of tracking with reporting. You can view data on how your assets are being used by your organization or how specific users are using the DAM, making it very simple to understand the ROI of your assets. This is imperative to organizations, since if you don't know how your assets are being used, you won't know how your assets are being used within your DAM, and then you won't be able to create data-driven decisions later on. So in a nutshell, reporting helps us save time, make better choices, and create an engaging and satisfying experience for your internal users. And another really cool feature I want to highlight is CDN linking. So CDN links are a great way to share your assets and then understand how much and how often they're being used. So this allows you to share your assets to internal or external stakeholders really easily. For context, CDN links are links that you can share that go directly to your asset. So if you had an image linked, like this one on screen, then when someone clicks on the link, it would show the full screen of the image or the full resolution of the image on your screen. So this allows organizations to share assets with a simple link. And then when you update the asset from your side, the link stays the same, and each place where you've used the link in the past will be automatically updated to your newest version. A great use case that we've seen is how the city of Kawartha Lakes, they mentioned how when building a new website for themselves, they had approximately 8,200 images to upload. And that takes a long time to do. They estimated that with each CDN link that they could have used, it would have saved them about 3 minutes per image. That's because a CDN will automatically crop the size, and then you don't need to upload images anymore. You just put a link down. And they estimated that they saved around 3 minutes per image. And it doesn't sound like a lot when you think of one image, but when you have 8,200 images and 3 minutes of savings for each one, that's a lot of hours saved. So now that we have all this knowledge, we hope you have the experience to first scope out if a DAM is right for your organization, then to decide which DAM vendor is right for you as well. Before we jump into some Q&A, I want to share a quick poll for anyone interested in learning more about anything that they've learned here today. If you'd like to speak with someone from the MediaValet team, let us know here, and we'll be able to reach out to you as soon as possible. So let's jump into some Q&A.
Did notice a couple of questions in the Q&A section. One from Linnell Wise, just asking about the onboarding process with MediaValet, and does someone walk us through these questions with us? So absolutely, we actually have a little homework exercise that we do prior to onboarding, or even just during the sales cycle, that starts going through this thought process, and we'll guide you through how to identify stakeholders, what makes a good stakeholder, and then also the types of questions to be asking those stakeholders to help you build that success criteria that we were talking about. There's a good format of questions that starts people thinking down the path of what a successful outcome looks like for them, what their workflows are like, what types of interactions do they expect to have with the DAM. So definitely can provide you with some of those worksheets, and then we have our sales team and our onboarding team support you through answering those questions. It's a good question.
Next question that we see, is the object recognition AI trainable? I don't believe object recognition is, but face recognition is definitely AI trainable. So for face recognition, you're able to put in a base model face. So just let's say you want an internal record of your employees, you'll have headshots of all of them, and then every future image that is uploaded into the DAM, let's say it's a holiday party or a summer barbecue, the AI will be able to pick up their face, and then it'll be on the people dashboard. But for object recognition, it's the AI doing its thing in order to identify which objects are within an image.
Any more questions there?
Rob, I think this one's for you. How do I know who should be involved in my DAM project?
Yeah, that's a good one. So really, we want to, first of all, look at our asset stores, where our assets currently reside and who has ownership of them. That's a very simple place to start. But taking a step back from that, we really want to look at who is going to be interacting with our DAM. So we want to look at, for example, the front-facing web team, our distribution team, whoever's talking to your sales team. So the distribution side of your DAM, and then also important to consider the creation aspect. So talking to our creative users, who's generating this content, obviously the marketing team, essentially anyone who has touch points with the DAM, we want to make sure we have a representative from their body. So you may end up having 5, 6, maybe even 7 stakeholders on your project. I would caution going anywhere above 7 or 8. It can become quite hard to make decisions if you have a big team. So just having a core team of trusted stakeholders is ideal, and the sweet spots are around about 5 or 6.
Ian, anything else on the line? How do I add face recognition to my own DAM? So face recognition is an add-on feature with MediaValet. So definitely speak to a customer success rep, and they'll be happy to help you out in getting that. All right, Ian, anything else? All good? Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today and taking part in our very first DAM week. Oh, another question? What are the strengths and weaknesses of MediaValet versus other DAM providers?
It's a pretty big one to unpack. We have some good comparison documentation we might want to share after this one. I don't know, Dynamic, if you have anything else to add to that, but
I mean, at the end of the day, it's features is what you're looking for. As Rob mentioned before, it's listing out the priorities or the problems that you have right now, and then understanding which features solve those later on. We can also send out a G2 comparison report after this, so definitely keep in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help you there. But we hope you found the information today informative, valuable, and stay tuned for more DAM weeks to come in 2024. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
thank you.